The Galactic Council sat in silence as the news was delivered. For centuries, they had ruled the galaxy with ease, their fleets powerful, and their armies unmatched. They were used to being the ones in control, used to seeing weaker civilizations tremble before them. But the report that arrived from Earth was different. It wasn't the usual whispers of some primitive species trying to build a weapon. No, this was something far more dangerous, far more unsettling. Earth, the planet they had always dismissed as insignificant, had built something terrifying. A warship. At first, the Council refused to believe it. They laughed it off, dismissing the Earthlings as naive, as too weak to pose any real threat. But then the reports kept coming. They were detailed, precise. The warship wasn't like anything the galaxy had ever seen before. It was a weapon of unimaginable power, something that could rival even the mightiest fleets in the galaxy. The first test of its strength had been devastating. A small fleet of alien ships that had come too close to Earth had been completely destroyed in mere minutes. Not a single ship left standing. The survivors spoke of a ship so powerful, so fast, that they never even had a chance to fight back. The leaders of the Galactic Council couldn't ignore it anymore. They convened in secret, far from the eyes of the galaxy, to discuss what had just happened. Their once confident faces were now filled with worry. Earth, a planet they had once laughed at, was becoming a serious threat. They were unsure of what to do. They couldn't believe that a species that had been living in the shadows of space exploration for so long could suddenly create a warship that could challenge them. It didn't make sense, but the evidence was clear. The commander of the Galactic Navy, a tough and calculating leader named Saran, was the first to speak. "We cannot allow this to continue. Earth is a threat to our very existence. If we let them build more ships like this, they could destroy everything we've worked for." The room fell silent. Saran's words were not taken lightly. The galaxy's strongest fleets had been crushed in a matter of minutes. What if Earth's warship was only the beginning? There were whispers of fear in the room. The other leaders tried to stay calm, but it was clear they were all thinking the same thing. Earth could no longer be underestimated. A new player had entered the galactic stage, and they weren't going to back down. The Earthlings had built something that even the mightiest alien civilizations couldn't match, and now the galaxy was forced to take notice. "We need to find out how they did this," Saran continued, her voice low and steady. "If we don't understand the technology behind this ship, we risk losing everything." There was a murmur of agreement among the Council. The power that Earth had unlocked was terrifying. How had they done it? What kind of technology had they discovered? It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Council needed answers, but finding those answers wouldn't be easy. The spies they sent to Earth to gather information came back with even more unsettling news. Earth's warship, the Titan, wasn't the only one of its kind. It was just the first. Rumors spread that Earth was already working on more ships, bigger, stronger, and faster. It was only a matter of time before they built an entire fleet that could rival the Galactic Council itself. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and no one knew how to stop it. In the heart of the Galactic Council, a decision was made. A meeting was held with the leaders of the most powerful species in the galaxy, all of whom agreed on one thing: Earth could not be allowed to grow stronger. They couldn't risk letting this tiny, insignificant planet become a dominant force. A plan was set into motion to strike Earth before it was too late. But even as the decision was made, doubt lingered in the minds of many. Could they really defeat Earth? Was it possible to stop a species that had created something so powerful so quickly? There was no time to waste. The first strike was set. The fleet would move toward Earth, and they would destroy the Titan before it could build an army. But the Council had underestimated one thing: Earth's resolve. The people of Earth had never known a force so strong, so terrifying, and yet they had built it. They weren't about to let anyone take it away from them. They would fight, and they would fight to win. As the first ships prepared to leave the Galactic Council's base, they had no idea what they were walking into. Earth had shown only a glimpse of its power, but that glimpse was enough. The warship Titan was only the beginning. The story of Earth's rise to power was just starting, and the galaxy was about to be changed forever. The Council's decision was final. They would destroy Earth, but they didn't know yet that Earth was ready. Ready to fight for its survival. Ready to prove that they were no longer the weak, helpless planet they had once been. And when the first shots were fired, the galaxy would never be the same again. The first strike against Earth was swift. The Galactic fleet, composed of ships from the most powerful species in the galaxy, arrived at Earth's doorstep with a single goal: destroy the Titan warship before it could grow into a real threat. The fleet had every advantage: numbers, technology, and the experience of countless battles. But as they entered Earth's orbit, they realized something that made their hearts race with fear. The Earthlings had prepared. The Titan, a massive warship that had once seemed like a myth to many, now hovered ominously above the planet. Its sleek, dark hull reflected the stars as it silently waited for the enemy to make its move. But there was something else, something that made the fleet uneasy. Earth's defenses were not just the Titan. Hidden beneath the surface of Earth were dozens of smaller ships, armed with advanced weaponry, ready to join the fight. Earth wasn't just prepared for war, it was expecting it. The Galactic Fleet Commander, General Thrak, stared at the view screen, his heart pounding in his chest. "They knew we were coming," he muttered under his breath. There was no doubt about it now. Earth's sudden rise to power had not been an accident. It was deliberate. The Earthlings had spent years preparing for this moment, and now it was their time to fight back. Without warning, the Titan fired a single blinding shot, its energy beam cutting through the vacuum of space like a hot knife through butter. The lead ship in the Galactic fleet, a massive dreadnought, was obliterated in an instant. No warning, no time to react, just destruction. General Thrak's ship shook violently as the blast sent shockwaves through space, but it remained intact. The same couldn't be said for the dreadnought. It was gone. The remaining fleet commanders scrambled to issue orders, trying to regroup and retaliate. They had been caught off guard, and now they were playing catch-up. Earth's ships, small and agile, darted through the battlefield with ease. Their advanced shields and weapons kept the Galactic fleet at bay, and soon, the once confident invaders found themselves on the defensive. The battle had only just begun, but it was clear that Earth's warship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever faced. General Thrak's mind raced. He knew they had underestimated Earth, but this was more than just a mistake. It was a disaster in the making. His fleet was being torn apart by a planet that had once been nothing more than a speck in the vastness of the galaxy. How had they done this? How had they built such power in such a short amount of time? The questions burned in his mind, but there was no time to find answers. His fleet was in danger, and they needed to retreat, or they would all be destroyed. "Pull back," he ordered, his voice urgent. "Regroup at the outer rim. We can't win this battle now. We need reinforcements." The fleet commander's words were drowned out by the deafening sounds of explosions as the Galactic ships began their retreat. But even as they turned to flee, they knew one thing for sure: they could never forget Earth. Not now, not after what they had witnessed. Back on Earth, Commander Alex stood at the bridge of the Titan, watching the battle unfold on the massive screens in front of him. His face was calm, but inside, his heart was pounding. The first strike had gone better than expected, but this was only the beginning. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over. The Galactic fleet would come again, and when they did, Earth would be ready. "We've made our mark," Commander Alex said, his voice steady. "But this is just the start. They will come back, and we need to be ready for them." He turned to his crew, who were monitoring the situation. "Prepare the next phase. This fight is far from over, and we need to make sure they understand that Earth isn't just a planet they can wipe out. We're not weak. We're not afraid." The crew nodded, knowing that the road ahead would be filled with danger. But they had something the galactic powers didn't: the will to fight. They weren't going to sit back and let their world be destroyed. They had the Titan, and they had each other. As the galactic fleet retreated, the remaining survivors were left with a chilling message. Earth was no longer a planet to be ignored. The power of the Titan was real, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The galactic powers had a choice to make. Either they would destroy Earth, or they would have to learn to live with the fact that a new power had risen in the galaxy. And Earth wasn't backing down. Not now, not ever. You said, the galactic powers had barely managed to regroup after their disastrous encounter with Earth. Their fleets, once thought invincible, had been torn apart by the Titan warship and its advanced technology. The commanders of the fleet knew they had no choice but to send reinforcements. They couldn't allow a single planet to challenge their reign over the galaxy. Earth's sudden rise had shattered the illusion of their dominance, and now they were desperate to put an end to the threat. But the reality was sinking in. The galactic powers weren't as united as they had hoped. While some species called for immediate retaliation, others suggested diplomacy, trying to find a way to make peace with Earth without further escalating the situation. The debate raged on, but time was running out. Earth's military had only grown stronger with each passing day, and they had no intention of stopping. The leaders of the galactic powers had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. Commander Alex had been prepared for the inevitable counterattack. He had seen the destruction of the first wave of galactic ships, but he knew that the worst was yet to come. The galactic powers wouldn't stop until they had wiped out every last bit of Earth's newfound power. Earth was no longer just a target for conquest. It was a symbol of resistance, of defiance against the established order. As the second wave of the galactic fleet approached Earth, Commander Alex gathered his top generals and strategists. The war was about to escalate, and Earth's survival depended on their next move. Earth's fleet had grown since the first attack, and now the Titan wasn't alone. Smaller warships, each equipped with the same advanced technology as the Titan, stood ready for battle. Earth's people were united, determined to defend their home from whatever the galactic powers threw at them. The first signs of the enemy appeared on the edge of Earth's atmosphere. The massive ships of the galactic fleet, their hulls glinting in the light of distant stars, loomed ominously as they approached. This time, there were no signs of hesitation from the galactic fleet. They were coming in full force, ready to crush Earth and its warship once and for all. There would be no room for mercy. Earth was nothing but an obstacle to their power, and they intended to remove it. But Earth was not going down without a fight. The Titan, now fully armed and operational, took its position at the forefront of Earth's defenses. The smaller ships followed close behind, each one a deadly force in its own right. Commander Alex stood at the command center of the Titan, his eyes fixed on the battlefield ahead. He knew that Earth's best chance of survival lay in one key advantage: surprise. The first attack from the galactic fleet was swift and brutal. The warships fired their massive energy cannons, sending deadly beams of light toward Earth's defenses. The Titan absorbed the first wave of attacks with its advanced shields, barely flinching as the blasts hit. The smaller Earth ships, too, held their ground, their shields holding up against the onslaught. But it was the counterattack that shocked the galactic fleet. The Titan, moving faster than any ship in their fleet, fired back with precision. Its weapons were unlike anything the galactic powers had ever seen. A beam of concentrated energy shot forward, striking one of the largest galactic warships in the fleet. The ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, its remains scattered across space. The remaining ships in the fleet tried to regroup, but Earth's ships were relentless. With every strike, they sent another galactic vessel to its doom. The Titan led the charge, its massive cannons firing without mercy. It was clear now: Earth wasn't just defending its planet. It was taking the fight to the enemy. As the battle raged on, Commander Alex watched with a mix of determination and disbelief. The galactic powers were retreating. Slowly but surely, their massive fleet was breaking apart, unable to keep up with Earth's superior technology and tactics. Earth was winning, and the galactic fleet knew it. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting before their very eyes. General Thrak, the leader of the galactic fleet, stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the chaos unfold. His ships were losing. His forces were crumbling. The Earthlings were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting with an intensity and determination that he had never seen before. He had underestimated them, and now he was paying the price. "Retreat," he ordered, his voice filled with frustration and anger. "Pull back to the outer system. We cannot win this battle." But the damage had already been done. The galactic fleet, broken and battered, turned its ships away from Earth. The fight was over for now, but the message had been sent. Earth was no longer a weak, helpless planet. It was a force to be reckoned with. The galactic powers had failed to crush Earth's will to fight, and now they knew they would never be able to do so. As the last of the galactic ships retreated, Commander Alex looked out at the battlefield, his expression resolute. Earth had won this battle, but the war was far from over. The galactic powers would return, but next time, they would know what Earth was capable of. And next time, Earth would be ready. The fight for the galaxy was just beginning. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and the galactic powers were already regrouping. The retreat had been a bitter blow to their pride, but they were not ready to give up. The defeat at the hands of Earth's Titan warship had shaken the entire galaxy, and now the Galactic Council was scrambling to come up with a plan to deal with the rising threat. It had become clear that Earth was no longer a weak and vulnerable planet. Their technology, their strength, and their determination had changed everything. Commander Alex stood at the command center of the Titan, watching as his fleet prepared for the next phase of the conflict. The Earth's defenses had proven more than enough to repel the initial assault, but Alex knew that the galactic powers would not give up so easily. They would come again, and next time, they would be ready for Earth's tactics. The question was, would Earth be ready for them? The Earth fleet had grown stronger in the aftermath of their first victory. New ships, smaller but still deadly, had been built using the same advanced technology as the Titan. The people of Earth were united, and their resolve to protect their planet was stronger than ever. But as Alex prepared for the next wave of galactic attacks, he knew that Earth's true strength lay not in its ships, but in its people. They had something the galactic powers didn't: the will to fight. In the days that followed, the galactic fleet began its second assault on Earth. This time, they had brought their full might: massive warships, advanced weapons, and countless troops. They were determined to crush Earth once and for all. As the fleet entered Earth's orbit, they prepared for an all-out assault, their weapons primed and ready to strike. But Earth had anticipated their move. The Titan was positioned at the forefront of Earth's defense, ready to meet the enemy head-on. The smaller ships, each armed with the same advanced technology, formed a defensive line behind it. As the first wave of the galactic fleet came into range, Commander Alex gave the order. "Fire," he commanded, and the Titan's cannons roared to life. The battle began with a massive explosion as the Titan's first shots struck one of the galactic ships dead center. The shockwave sent ripples through space, and debris from the destroyed ship scattered in all directions. The Earth fleet, not missing a beat, followed with a volley of their own, launching devastating blasts that shattered the shields of the incoming ships. The galactic fleet, taken by surprise once again, struggled to adjust to Earth's relentless attack. They had expected Earth to be unprepared for a second wave, but the truth was far from that. Earth's military was organized, efficient, and ready for anything the galactic fleet could throw at them. Every ship in Earth's fleet moved with purpose, engaging the enemy with precision and force. The Titan, leading the charge, tore through the galactic fleet like a blade through paper. No ship was safe from its firepower. But the Galactic fleet wasn't finished yet. As the battle raged on, the Galactic commanders began to adapt. They had learned from their mistakes and now they fought with a renewed determination. Their ships began to focus fire on the Titan, attempting to bring down the ship that had been the source of their defeat. The Titan's shields flickered under the barrage of laser fire, but it held firm. The Earth fleet, now emboldened by their leader's strength, kept the pressure on, preventing the Galactic ships from getting a clear shot at their prized warship. Yet, despite Earth's fierce resistance, the Galactic fleet had a secret weapon, the Arcanus. A massive, heavily armored battleship, the Arcanus was equipped with a weapon that could potentially destroy the Titan in a single shot. Its energy cannon, powered by the most advanced technology in the galaxy, was capable of piercing the Titan's shields and inflicting catastrophic damage. The Arcanus moved into position, its massive form casting a shadow over the battlefield. Commander Alex's eyes narrowed as he saw the enormous ship prepare to fire. He knew that if the Arcanus succeeded in firing its weapon, it could turn the tide of the battle in favor of the Galactic fleet. Earth's entire defense would be crippled in an instant. "Focus all fire on the Arcanus," Alex ordered, his voice calm but urgent. The Titan's weapons opened up on the massive battleship, the powerful blasts striking its shields. For a moment, it seemed as though the Arcanus might fall. But then, the Galactic fleet came to its aid, unleashing a wave of firepower that forced the Earth fleet to spread out. The pressure was mounting, and Commander Alex knew that Earth couldn't keep this up forever. In that moment, a bold decision was made. Alex gave the order to launch Earth's last-ditch weapon, the Solar Buster. A devastating beam of energy, capable of vaporizing entire fleets, was Earth's trump card. If it could strike the Arcanus, it might be enough to destroy it and shift the momentum back to Earth. The Titan adjusted its position, aligning its cannons with the massive battleship. The energy built up, the tension palpable. The crew worked furiously to prepare the weapon, knowing that this was their only shot at victory. The moment the weapon was fully charged, Alex gave the command. Fire. The Solar Buster fired, a blinding beam of energy that tore through the space between the Titan and the Arcanus. The blast struck the Arcanus head-on, and for a moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. The ship's shields cracked under the pressure, and then, in a flash of light, the Arcanus was obliterated. Its remains scattered across space as the shockwave sent a ripple through the Galactic fleet. The remaining Galactic ships hesitated, stunned by the destruction of their most powerful vessel. The battle had taken a sudden and unexpected turn. The tide was shifting once again, and this time, the Galactic fleet knew that Earth wasn't going to back down. Earth had won a hard-fought victory, but the war was far from over. The Galactic powers were forced to retreat once again, their plans in ruins. As they retreated to regroup, Commander Alex stood at the command center of the Titan, his gaze fixed on the stars ahead. Earth had proven its strength. The war wasn't over, but they had made their mark. The Galactic powers now knew that Earth was not just a planet to be conquered. It was a force to be reckoned with. And no matter how many times they came back, Earth would be ready. The galaxy was about to change, and Earth was at the center of it. The galaxy was in turmoil. Earth had fought back against the might of the Galactic powers, and with each battle, the reputation of Earth's warship, the Titan, grew. The Galactic Council had failed twice to crush Earth's defenses, and now they were faced with an uncomfortable truth. Earth was no longer the insignificant planet they had once dismissed. It was becoming a power in its own right, one that could challenge their dominance over the galaxy. The time for hesitation had passed. The Galactic powers had no choice but to escalate the conflict to its most extreme. Commander Alex knew that a final confrontation was imminent. The Galactic fleet, despite their numerous defeats, would not stop until Earth was completely subdued. They had underestimated Earth's will to fight, but now they had no choice but to face the reality of a growing threat. Earth had become a symbol of defiance, and the galaxy had been forced to take notice. The question was no longer whether Earth would survive. It was whether the galactic powers could adapt quickly enough to defeat them. On Earth, preparations were already underway. The Titan had been upgraded with new weapons, and its fleet had grown to include even more advanced ships. Earth was ready for whatever the galactic powers would throw at them. The people of Earth, united by the defense of their home, were prepared to stand their ground. They had faced an enemy that had seemed invincible, and they had fought back. But this time, they knew that the battle would not be fought in the distant corners of space. It would be fought on Earth itself. The galactic fleet, now more massive than ever, moved toward Earth. The skies above the planet were filled with their warships, casting a shadow over the world. This time, there would be no retreat. This would be the final assault, and only one side would emerge victorious. The galactic powers had brought their full strength to bear. Their fleet was vast, their weapons powerful, and their resolve unshakable. But Earth was not afraid. The Titan moved to the front of Earth's defenses, its massive form gliding into position as it had done so many times before. Smaller ships followed in its wake, each one brimming with advanced weaponry. Commander Alex stood at the helm of the Titan, his hands gripping the controls as he prepared for the coming onslaught. He knew that Earth's chances of survival rested on the shoulders of the brave men and women fighting to protect their planet. Their determination would be the key to victory. As the galactic fleet advanced, a tense silence hung in the air. The two forces faced each other in the cold vacuum of space, the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. Then, without warning, the first shots were fired. The battle erupted with explosive force as both sides unleashed everything they had. The Titan's energy cannons fired with deadly precision, striking the first wave of galactic ships and sending them spiraling into destruction. Earth's smaller ships joined the fray, their weapons cutting through the galactic fleet with unrelenting power. The galactic fleet fought back, launching their own barrage of missiles and energy blasts. The sky above Earth was filled with fire as both sides collided in a desperate struggle for control. The galactic ships were massive, but Earth's fleet was nimble and fast. The Titan, with its unmatched speed and firepower, tore through the galactic defenses like a knife through butter, cutting down ships one by one. But despite Earth's fierce resistance, the galactic fleet was relentless. Their warships, though large and imposing, were slowly being whittled down. The Titan continued to fire, its weapons devastating everything in their path. However, the galactic fleet had one last trick up their sleeve, an experimental weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of destroying entire cities in a single shot. It was the final weapon in their arsenal, and they intended to use it on Earth. The weapon, called the Vortex Cannon, was capable of creating a black hole that would devour anything in its vicinity. The galactic fleet prepared to fire it, aiming directly at Earth. The Vortex Cannon would obliterate everything: the planet, the fleet, and the people defending it. It was a weapon of unimaginable power, one that could end the war in an instant. But Commander Alex had anticipated this move. He knew the galactic powers would use their most powerful weapon in a last-ditch effort to destroy Earth. The Titan's advanced sensors detected the Vortex Cannon's charge, and Alex made a split-second decision. He ordered the Titan to launch a full-speed assault toward the galactic ship carrying the cannon. The Titan's engines roared as it surged forward, its massive form cutting through space at an incredible speed. The galactic fleet was caught off guard. Before they could react, the Titan had reached the ship carrying the Vortex Cannon. With a single devastating shot from the Titan's main cannon, the ship exploded, sending debris scattering across space. The Vortex Cannon was destroyed, and the threat of total annihilation was no more. But the battle was not over. The galactic fleet, now leaderless and disorganized, began to retreat, their once confident ranks crumbling. Earth's fleet pursued them, relentless in their pursuit, but it was clear that the galactic powers had lost. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. As the last of the galactic ships retreated into the depths of space, Commander Alex stood on the bridge of the Titan, his eyes watching the distant stars. The war was over. Earth had won. The galactic powers had been defeated, their fleets broken, and their will to conquer shattered. But even as Earth celebrated its victory, a new realization began to sink in. The galaxy would never be the same again. Earth had proven that a small planet, once seen as insignificant, could rise to challenge the might of the galactic powers. Earth had shown the galaxy that no one was invincible, and that sometimes the most unexpected forces could change the course of history. The victory had been hard-earned, but it was only the beginning. Earth had earned its place among the stars, and now the galaxy would have to reckon with it. The battle for the future of the galaxy had just begun, and Earth was ready to stand at the forefront.